lost all hope and wake up, try to find my focus. Meet someone new, but the walls ain't broken. It's a never-ending circle I'm in. Time slow when you're on your own and just seeing that name on your phone and phone rings, not you, heart slow, man. Why you gotta switch up the plan when you're all alone? When you all don't feel like home.
Richie here with Static Playing Football. This is your Week 9 NFL preview. New location for now, just to try it out. Thursday game, San Francisco 49ers against Arizona Cardinals. San Francisco demolished Carolina 51-13. Garoppolo solid 18-22, 175, 2 touchdowns a pick. Tevin Coleman ran for 105 and 3 touchdowns. They ran for 232 yards. Defense was amazing. 7 sacks. Nick Bosa had 3 of them. 3 turnovers, only allowed 230 yards. Whereas Arizona, they got killed by New Orleans 31-9. Kyler Murray 220 yards. They only ran for 40. They didn't put up a whole lot. I think this game will be interesting for a little bit, but San Francisco looks really good, especially on defense. And Kyler Murray's been, he can make some plays. He maybe can put up a few points, but I think this is San Francisco's game. All right, going to Sunday, Houston, Jacksonville, huge game for possible playoff implications. Houston's 5-3, Jacksonville's 4-4. Houston had a big win, 27-24 over Oakland. Deshaun Watson, great game, 279 passing, 3 touchdown passes, plus 46 rushing. DeAndre Hopkins, 11 catches for 109 yards. Where Jacksonville beat the New York Jets, 29-15. Gardner Minshew, really good game, 279 passing also, 3 touchdowns, plus added 28 rushing. Chris Conley, 4 catches, 103 and a touchdown. Defense had 8 sacks in that game, 8 of them. Forced 3 turnovers, only allowed 213 yards. I think this will be a really close game because Jacksonville's got a good defense. Houston's got a really good offense. Jacksonville's offense is decent. Minshew's been doing pretty well, but Houston's offense is really, really good. Watson is great. This is going to be close. I think this will just pretty much come down to Houston just being better overall on offense. They'll be able to score a little bit more, but I think this could come down to the end. Maybe a game-winning field goal, a stop somewhere, one of those things like a 3 to 7 point kind of game. But I think Houston might take that. All right, the Redskins and the Bills. Washington's coming off a 19-9 loss to Minnesota. Their offense didn't do very well, only 216 yards. But their defense did have 3 sacks and only allowed Minnesota the 19 points. Whereas the Bills got killed 31-13 to Philadelphia. Josh Allen, 16 or 34 is not very good, but 169 passing, 2 touchdowns, plus 45 rushing. Their defense did have 3 sacks in that game. I think the Bills should win this because the Bills have a good defense. Their offense is so-so, but the Redskins really aren't very good on either side. They played okay on defense last week, but their offense just is in too much of kind of a disarray. So I think the Bills win, but this might be kind of a low-scoring game, maybe like a, 20-19, sort of 21-19, 21, I don't know, something like that. But I get the Bills there. All right, the Minnesota Vikings and the Chiefs. This will be a big game for both teams, trying to get some wins to get into a playoff. Minnesota is actually behind, I think, like a game or half a game from Green Bay. So if they want to keep pace, they're going to win all the games they can. Minnesota beat Washington 19-9. Kirk Cousins was efficient, 23-26, 285. Stephon Diggs, 7 catches, 143. They ran for 161 yards as a team. Their kicker, I got to call him out, Dan Bailey. He was 4 for 4. That's all they really needed. Defense really played well, 4 sacks and 2 turnovers. Whereas Kansas City, without Mahomes, they gave Green Bay a really good fight. They only lost 31-24 and had it close at the end. Matt Moore, good game, 267, 2 touchdowns. They only ran for 88 yards. Defense did have 5 sacks in that game, though, so that could be a key against Minnesota. And Patrick Mahomes may be back for this game, so we'll see about that. Even if he's not, I'm going to go KC here slightly. I really like Minnesota's defense. I really like Cousins. He's been able to throw it really well the past 4 games. Dalvin Cook can get it going. It's just there's something about Kansas City. I think, I mean, they've lost 3 in a row or 3 out of 4, something like that. I think they turn it around here. It's tough to go to Arrowhead, especially if Mahomes does play. So I'm gonna give KC the edge there, but that'll be a really fun one to watch. All right, the Jets and Miami. This might be terrible. Jets lost 29-15 at Jacksonville. Darnold 218 passing, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. They only ran for 46 yards. They allowed 8 sacks in that game. Whereas Miami lost 27-14 to Pitt. Ryan Fitzpatrick 190 passing, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. They only had 230 yards and turned it over 4 times. I have no idea who's gonna win. Both teams are terrible. Both teams. The only thing I can say is the past 2 games, the Jets have been turning it over a lot. Darnold has been, whereas Miami's at least been kind of competitive the last couple games. I might give Miami the edge here. I think I'm gonna go Miami to finally win their first game, but that'll be a pillow fight. All right, Chicago taking on Philly. This another interesting game for possible wild card implication down the line. Implications down the line. Chicago, they lost by a point, 17-16 to the Los Angeles Chargers. They missed a field goal at the end that would have won it. Trubisky, 253 passing, 1 pick. David Montgomery did have a really good game, 135 rushing and a touchdown. They did run for 162 yards, but they turned it over twice. They actually outgained the Chargers by quite a bit. It's just they couldn't put it in the end zone. They couldn't score. Philly beat the Bills 31-13. Wentz solid 172 passing and a touchdown. They ran for 218 yards. Defense had 4 sacks in that game. I think this will be close because Chicago, their defense is always good. Philly, I don't know what to think. They're kind of inconsistent. I don't think they'll run for 200 yards against Chicago. But, man, Chicago's got to get that kicking game going. I don't know, I'm kind of leaning Philly here. So I think I might go Philly with that one, but that'll be a good one. All right, Indianapolis and Pittsburgh. Indianapolis beat Denver on a game-winning field goal, 15-13. Brissett 202 passing plus 34 rushing. Defense had 3 sacks. They did have 10 penalties. They got to clean that up for sure. Pittsburgh, Mason Rudolph came back, had a nice game against Miami. Rudolph passed for 251, 2 touchdowns and a pick. James Conner ran for 145 yards and a touchdown. Juju Smith-Schuster had 5 catches for 103 and a touchdown. Their defense had 4 sacks, 4 turnovers, and allowed 230 yards. This would be a really good game. I really like Pittsburgh. I like Mason Rudolph. They could go on a bit of a run here. The Colts, though, their defense is so good. Brissett, I mean, they played a low-scoring game last week because Denver's defense is good, but Brissett has been really solid all year long. God, this is tough. I'm kind of leaning Pittsburgh here. I think this would be a bit of an upset. Maybe I'm just infatuated with Mason Rudolph for some reason. Maybe I want him to prove me right that he's good. But when he's played, he's shown capable, and I think they'll get it done there. So that'll be a really big win for Pitt if they can pull it off. The Titans in Carolina. Titans beat the Bucs 27-23. Tannehill, good game, 193 passing, 3 touchdowns. They only had 246 yards, but their defense had 4 turnovers in that game, and that's pretty much what won it. Whereas Carolina got killed 51-13 to San Francisco. Kyle Allen, not very good, 158 passing, 3 interceptions. Christian McCaffrey was the only really good thing about them. Ran for 117 and a touchdown. They turned it over 3 times. I think this will be a pretty good game. I expect Kyle Allen to not turn it over. Those were his first 3 interceptions of the year. I'm going to say they turn around and come out with a win here. I think McCaffrey goes off again and helps them win that game. All right, Detroit and Oakland. Kind of interesting for possible wild card, for both teams if they want to get into the playoffs. Detroit beat the Giants 31-26. Stafford 342 passing, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Kenny Golladay 6 catches, 132, 2 touchdowns. They only ran for 59 yards. They did have 3 sacks. There was Oakland lost 27-24 to Houston. Carr passed for 285 and 3 touchdowns. Defense had 3 sacks, but they also had 11 penalties. They really need to clean that up against Detroit. This could be a pretty high-scoring game. I expect them to go all over the place. I like Detroit this year. I think Detroit probably get it done, but I expect another kind of a shootout, 30-27, something like that kind of game. All right, Tampa Bay's got to travel to Seattle. Tampa Bay lost 27-23 to Tennessee. Winston 301 passing, 2 touchdowns, but threw 2 interceptions. Mike Evans went off, 11 catches, 198 yards, and 2 touchdowns. They did put up 389 yards, but they turned it over 4 times. Defense had 3 sacks, and they only gave up 246. Whereas Seattle beat Atlanta 27-20, but they're up 24-0 at halftime and just kind of held on. Tyler Lockett had 6 catches for 100 yards. Defense forced 3 turnovers. I think this is Seattle. Tampa never historically doesn't do very well traveling to the West Coast. Yes, they beat the Los Angeles Rams earlier. I don't trust Winston, and he's not proving me wrong. They keep turning it over quite a bit. In Seattle, they can pick you apart. So I think Seattle will win that. All right, Cleveland and Denver. Low-scoring game here. Cleveland lost 27-13 to New England. Nick Chubb had a good game, 131 yards rushing, but he fumbled it twice, which hurt them a lot. Defense had 3 sacks, though. However, they had 13 penalties, which is terrible. Denver, they lost a close game, 15-13 in Indianapolis. Not a whole lot to say. Their offense didn't do a whole lot. Their defense did have 4 sacks. I'm going to go Denver here. Denver's defense is good. Cleveland's been shitting on themselves, turning it over a ton. Baker didn't turn over. He threw a pick like in the last game, but it just seems like their whole team is just not in sync. So I'm going to actually go Denver here to win. All right, Green Bay taking on the Chargers. Green Bay won 31-24 over Kansas City. Aaron Rodgers, 305 passing, 3 touchdowns. Aaron Jones ran for 67, then had 7 catches for 159 yards and 2 touchdowns. Whereas the Chargers beat the Bears 17-16. Rivers 201 passing, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. They only had 36 rushing yards. They're going to need to get that going to keep Aaron Rodgers off the field. Defense, though, did have 4 sacks and 2 turnovers, and that's going to be key against Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, they're looking like Super Bowl contenders right now. That being said, I'm going to go Green Bay in this. Yeah, they got to travel to Los Angeles, but Green Bay looks like a really, really good team. All right, this Sunday night primetime game, one of the games I've been looking forward to for a few weeks now, the Patriots and the Baltimore Ravens. Patriots are still undefeated. They beat the Browns 27-13. Tom Brady, good game, 259, 2 touchdowns. Defense had 5 sacks, 3 turnovers, and a fumble return for a touchdown. Baltimore's coming off a bye. Their last game was a really nice win, 30-16 over Seattle. Lamar Jackson, 9 of 20 passing, 143, not great. He's normally at least more efficient, but he ran for 116 yards and a touchdown. They ran for 199 as a team. Their defense forced 2 turnovers and returned them both for touchdowns. They had a pick 6, which was Russell Wilson's first interception of the season, and a fumble return for a touchdown. This is going to be a great game. Could be a preview of the AFC Championship game. I'm honestly. So New England's defense is right now, they're on pace to be one of the best ever. They're setting all kinds of records. But Lamar Jackson is special. That being said, Belichick knows how to game plan. Like, he's the mastermind, right? And in Baltimore, their defense, people think of Baltimore and they think of their defense. They're not as good as they used to be. They're still solid, but they can be scored on. They can be moved on, and you can't count out Brady. Man, this is going to be a really good game. I think this could be pretty high scoring, like 35-31 kind of game. I just can't go against Brady. I can see Lamar Jackson looking like he's going to take that mantle away where he scores a late touchdown, takes them on a drive, they go up like 31-28, whatever, 31-27, something like that. And then with a minute 41 left, Brady just goes back down and does what Brady does and leads them to a win. That's kind of what I see happening here, so I'm going to go the Patriots at the end to win that one. But that's going to be an awesome game. All right, then the Monday night game, Dallas and the Giants. Dallas coming off a bye. The last game was a 37-10 win over Philly. Dak, efficient, 21-27, 239 passing, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, added 30 rushing yards and a touchdown. Ezekiel Elliott ran for 111 and a touchdown. Amari Cooper had 5 catches for 106. They put up 402 yards. Defense had 3 sacks, 4 turnovers. Had an all-around dismantling of Philly in that game. For the Giants, they lost a close close game to Detroit, 31-26. Daniel Jones had a really good game, 322 passing, 4 touchdown passes. They only ran for 80 yards, so they got to get that going. Defense did have 4 sacks and forced 2 turnovers, which is what they're going to have to do against Dallas. That being said, I've liked Dallas this year. Yeah, they went through a slump. They're a possible Super Bowl contender in my personal opinion. At the very least, maybe make it to the NFC Championship game. Who knows? But I'm going to go Dallas to win that one. Alright, so those are my NFL picks and my previews. Check out all my other videos. Peace.